What's going on, people? Let me know if I'm good. Let me know if the visual is good. Let me know if the audio is good. Oh man, two chances, two chances to try to get and take that game to overtime. Two chances and two turnovers. Two chances and two turnovers. Oh man. So as you guys should know, one side of the house is happy. My wife is happy. She's a Steeler fan, of course. They win the game. They continue to have their bragging rights, I guess, for another 4 years possibly. And I'm sitting here sick to my stomach. Sick to my stomach. We had after all the bad that happened, all the penalties, all the penalties, the false starts, the illegal shifts, illegal man downfield. After all that, starting the game off with all field goals. After all that, at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, you still get two chances to tie the game and two turnovers. That shouldn't even be the story of the whole game because there was a lot of things that happened. We saw Tate Banks got benched. Tate Banks got benched. And the funny thing about it is I put out a poll and I said, should Tate Banks get benched for the first quarter? They didn't bench him, but he ended up getting benched anyway. And I'm curious what's going to happen with that. That's a fact. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like. Oh, we're going to get to it. MacArthur, we're gonna get to it. That 2 point going for two right there. Oh my gosh! And it's not even about going for two. It's the play call. It's the play call. So there's I say it every week. I say it every week. There's a lot of fingers to point. But at the end of everything today, as much of a mess this game was, at the end of it, you had two chances to tie this game, to get a point, to try to tie this game, I should say. He had two chances. The ball was in the quarterback's hands. The first time, fumble, turnover. Second time, he panicked a little bit and throws the interception. Game over. Now there was some drops in this game. There was some bad throws in this game. It was a lot going on. It was a lot going on. Hold on, check, make sure my. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. Okay. I want to make sure I'm still good. Give me the thumbs up if I'm still good vocal wise or audio wise, I should say. But man, I don't know. I don't know what to think about this game, man. I'm thinking about Dable, just some game management things. I'm thinking about the drop passes from Malik Neighbors, drop pass from Slayton as well. That was a murder ball though. That one high pass that was a little bit late, and Troy Aikman said it too. It was a sloppy game, but we had 12, 13 penalties at the end of this game. But I keep going back to at the end, and shame on myself for having that little bit of belief at the end of the game because I was reeled in. Shout out to my man Cop Pizzle. You know how Cop Pizzle always say, you reel me back in. I was reeled in. I was gone, and then the fourth quarter happened. Uh, Micah McFadden with the I'm sorry, Bobby Okereke with the strip. We get the fumble recovery. We're already in the green zone. I'm excited. Juices are flowing. Daniel Jones fumbles, and guess it's T.J. Watt. So Watt is going to get off, but man, just the opportunities were there at the end. But we're going to get into it again. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. Do a quick roll call for the people that are here. Actually, it's a lot of people in here. Shout out to the first person that was in the building. My man Jessa. Jessa was in the building early. I had to keep pushing the time back too for the live because at first it was supposed to be like 5 minutes after 11. Then I got it pushed all the way back to 11:20. But let me know how you guys feel. I already see you guys putting it in there. Pause. I see you guys in the comment section. Let me know. Yeah, that's a fact. Johnny Lovely, that's a fact. I really believe the team is broken. That's a fact. That's a fact. Shout out to Sydney. Sydney in the building. Just when I'm out, just when I'm out, you bring me back in. That's a fact. Godfather 3 right there. Al Pacino for sure. I almost thought about putting that as one of the intros, for this stream, that whole Godfather thing. But um, you couldn't ask for a better. Well, you could have asked for a better start, but for where the Giants are right now, for us to go into halftime 9, 9-9. That was a win. Um, we should have had some touchdowns, penalties called back. One of the touchdowns, the one for Manhurts, they caught us with the illegal shift. That's something else. Prime time Daniel Jones. Look, I say that it was a better showing than last week for sure. Better showing than last week. But at the end of the at the end of the day, the defense gave you another chance and you couldn't do anything with it. Um, so let me know. Let me know, everybody. Let me know. Who do you point the finger at first in this game? I just want to see what the temperature in the room is right now. Who gets the most blame for this loss? Shout out to King One Supreme with the $1.99 super chat. He says 1L closer to Cam or Shador. Let's effing go. I hear you. I hear you. JC was replying. JC NYC says team is not broken. DJ sucks, can't make plays. That's a fact. Now, again, that Steelers offense, we held them. Bend but don't break, held them to 9 points in the first half. They had a touchdown pulled off, but that was a good play by Tate Banks. The funny thing is Tate Banks got benched. When Tate Banks got benched, I thought, it's kind of funny because I don't think he should have got benched when he got benched. If you're going to bench him, you bench him at the beginning of the game. But, man, you can't blame him for Najee Harris jumping over him. Najee Harris jumps over somebody every game. It just happened to be Tate Banks this time. And what I saw on Twitter is somebody put out, I think it was Sean Mirage from the Fan. He said that I guess there was some blow up between Tate Banks and Brian Dable on the sideline, and we didn't see Tate Banks again. He didn't, he was out there with his helmet on, talking to teammates, but we didn't see him again. And I just think about if we still had him on the field. Now I understand he got benched. He got benched. But when Phillips got beat twice deep, I just wonder if you have Tate Banks out there, if the same thing happens. So, it's crying over spilled milk, but at the end of the day, man, you got to give the effort. We need the best players on the field. You cannot tell me that the guy that we picked up off the promoter from the UDFA should have been in there. And I understand you bench off of discipline, but man, it just sucks. Shout out to JCNYC. He says Neighbors benched and Steelers took advantage. Is that what happened at the end? No, Neighbors was out there. Are you talking about you mean Banks, not Neighbors? I'm assuming you mean Banks and not Neighbors. But yo, man, again, we saw flashes. So I'll talk about some of the good before I lean on the bad, because I'm gonna lean on the bad. I'm not gonna be out here too long because it is already late. But we saw Tyrone Tracy, do his thing again. And we saw the New York Giants commit to the run. And this was not a soft defense from Pittsburgh, and we're still able to run on them. I would love to take that moving forward and just keep on, trying to force the run for Brian Dable. I would say that. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Tracy. I'm liking when you're being aggressive. But then when you're trying to get things going and you finally get a touchdown, Tracy breaks the long touchdown, and you want to go for 2 points. I understand going for 2 points, but that's your play. I've never seen the New York Giants run a play like that, where they shift all the offensive linemen to the outside, and then nobody's paying attention. The ball is snapped. None of the blockers. You got half of the linemen out there. Evan Neal is even out there on the play. Nobody knows what's going on. They try to set up the screen. Nobody blocks anybody, and the 2-point conversion is just null and void at the end of the day. What kind of play call is that? Like, if you're going to be aggressive, but that's not the call. And guess what? And if you go for the extra point there, you're down 7. And then when they kick that field goal, you're down 10 instead of being down 11. Why are you doing that, man? So there's a lot of fingers to point here. There's a lot of fingers to point. I figured that's what you meant. You meant Banks. Yeah. That's a fact. Dom Doc says can't catch a break. No, we can't catch a break, man. Again, and shame on myself for the excitement. Like that last the 2 times we had a chance to go in and tie this game. Shame on me for being excited just to be let down again. Because you know what? When the third quarter hit, at the end of the third quarter, I was already like accepting the loss. I didn't want to really accept the loss, but I was already getting my mind prepared for another loss. Right after Russell Wilson hit the deep shot to what was it, Austin, to Calvin Austin. I was ready. I was ready to wrap it up. Start the show early, wrap it up. But no, in true New York Giants fashion, they get into the fourth quarter, score points, and they give themselves a chance at the end just to let me down one more time. Shout out to my man Renner Smith. He's the $5 super chat. He says, "This is the one time I can legitimately say DJ lost the game." That's a fact. There's no arguments here. You can argue a little bit early, and I was arguing all throughout the game. I was in one of the spaces on Twitter, and that one pass that Neighbors dropped on the slant, and just if you lead that in front of him, he takes that slant almost to the house possibly. But no, he has to gather his feet, trying to make a difficult catch. And Neighbors is already trying to set up that spin move. He doesn't hold on to the ball. It is what it is. It is what it is after that. Oh, man. Brian Sutton says this team has everything but a quarterback. That it definitely feels that way. It definitely feels that way. And guess what? You know what else happened in this game? Because Bobby Okereke didn't have the strongest game starting off. That first half was questionable for Bob. He was missing tackles. He was getting beat to the outside. He was getting outran. And I put out a tweet. I said, "What happened to Bobby O? What happened to Bobby O?" He finally showed up in the fourth quarter, though. So shout out to Bobby Okereke. But again, what did it do for us? What did it do for us? Brian also says we have talent at the skill positions on offense. We do have talent. And guess what? Also, did you guys see us attack the seam finally? And that was probably one of the best throws Daniel Jones had the game. He had the one throw to Slayton that was fantastic. And then he had the late ball to Theo Johnson up the seam. That play has been here all game. It's been there. The attacking the seam has been there all season, and we don't do it. We refuse to do it. And we saw big yardage being picked up by Theo Johnson late in the game off attacking the seam. And that play has been there all game. And guess what? He threw with a little bit of anticipation too. He threw with some anticipation. So I can't, sometimes you got some good throws, but a lot of time, it's just not good enough. Just not good enough. So even at his best, it's just not good enough. My man John May says they had the numbers, pathetic. Nobody was engaged. That's a fact. That's a fact. Giants guy says next game, don't go to Giants Stadium against Washington. Let's leave Washington fans to take over. No, I mean, you can do that. You can do that. My man Joseph says special teams lost this game. Special teams played a big part. That was a big play that they gave up, but also that was a bad miscall by the refs. That's roughing the kicker. I mean, that's roughing the punter there. We've seen flags get called for less. So even if the contact wasn't anything crazy, that flag goes up. The Giants never get those type of calls, dude. We know that. We know that. We never get those type of calls. And for me, that was clearly roughing the kicker. That gives us 15 yards. That continues that drive. And who knows what happens from there. It definitely doesn't end with a touchdown return. That's for sure. So, again, there's a lot of fingers to point at. I mean, there's a lot of people to point the finger at in this game. The refs definitely have their fair share for sure. Brian Dable's game management, play calling leaves a lot. And then again, Daniel Jones being Daniel Jones. And guess what? Daniel Jones at his best, like I said, we know what it is already with Daniel Jones. There's no reason to keep beating Daniel Jones down. He's just not the guy. Put it that way. He's just not the guy. TJ Watt with a fantastic play. But you kind of that internal clock has to let you know that you don't have that kind of time. We're playing the Steelers. This is TJ Watt. You don't have that type of time. You know bad things are happening if you're patting that ball. And then again, that last interception, he felt a little bit of pressure, stepped up in the pocket and just chucked it. And they come up with the interception. Game over. Game over, man. Game over. The consolation prize is this. The New York Giants are now 2-6. Some other teams that had some that had some one-win seasons won a game. So maybe we get a better draft pick now. Maybe I believe right now we're picking at 9. Maybe we get to 6 now. Maybe I'll take that as a consolation prize, but I hate it because I much rather have won this game for sure. for sure. Shout out to Ronnie. Shout out to my man Renner. Shout out to, is it Karate Cohen? Let me know if I said that right. Says another poorly coached game. No arguments here. No arguments here. Bell says, did you peep neighbor's facial expression? Of course. Yeah, he's sick. He's like he's sick. Like a lot of these guys don't come from losing. And when they get to the Giants, they're just losing, man. And again, it wasn't from a lack of the defense playing well, because the defense played well early. The defense played well early, and they played well late. They gave up a couple of big bombs. And again, that's important. They did give up those touchdowns. But again, when we needed them the most, they made the play, and we didn't get it. Shout out to my man Tony Lamont, $5 super chat. He says, Jones is bad. First time attending a New York Giant game. Jones looks worse in person. Phillips got cooked all game. Listen, that's not Phillips' game. He's supposed to be there in the slot. They got favorable matchups that has something to do with coaching. We pulled Tay Banks off the field. We benched him. So guys had different roles to play. And we saw a weakness. The first weakness in Phillips' game, he's not an outside guy. So once you get into that deep coverage, he can get beat deep. We saw that today. So despite all the good that we've seen from Phillips, we saw what his weakness is. And again, that was a great scheme. And guess what? That's Arthur Smith too, coaching up the Steelers. A guy known for running the ball when he was at Atlanta. And he cooked us up, and he got the matchups he was looking for. Gave up some big plays also to George Pickens. And it's just that we saw the weakness. We saw the weakness of the New York Giants secondary today. And again, we didn't have all our guys. Imagine if we have Flat out there. Imagine if we have Adoree Jackson out there. Imagine if Tate Banks is not benched and actually playing up to his draft spot. You might have seen something different. But again, we saw what the New York Giants were today. And again, we're just not a good football team. We played a pretty good game for the most part, especially on defense, holding them to 9 points in the first half. But when the rubber hit the road in the second half, they broke a play, and then the floodgates opened up after that. That's pretty much what happened. As soon as that kick return happened, the floodgates opened, and it was pretty much a wrap. And you can feel the energy kind of, because once we went down 7 points, man, it felt like we were down 17. It felt like we were down 17, and then they go up again with another touchdown on a deep pass, and then now you're just looking like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then we get the big run and a touchdown from Tracy. We have the stupid 2-point conversion play, and then they go back down the field with Russell Wilson with another deep pass, and it is what it is after that. We lose in the most Giants fashion, for sure. For sure. Shout out to my man Joseph. Says, on that pass to Neighbors on the left side line, D-back was pulling on his hand, and again, no call. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, like I said, they were getting away with a lot, but a lot of those, and even what was it? The one pass play, the deep pass play that the Pittsburgh Steelers had, and I believe it was on McLeod. It looked like it could have been a little bit of OPI on that one. Like it looked like he might have got tugged a little bit on that play too. So I mean, again, a little bit of hand fighting is one thing, but when you see the guy pretty much, he almost ripped his wristband off, man. That's pass interference, and the crazy thing about that is that's most likely a touchdown when you think about it. Because if he doesn't slow him down with the tug, that ball was thrown perfectly. That was a perfectly thrown ball. Porter's beat, that's a touchdown. When you think about that, Joseph, that really should have been a touchdown. But again, we, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? Sydney says, at least we are not the Jets. That's, listen. I get a little bit of joy. I get a little bit of joy in the Jets being as bad as they are. I do get a little bit of joy in that. And that is a good point. I can hang my hat on that for sure. I still hate to lose. Especially the way that we lost, especially again, I got my hopes up, and it just didn't pay off, man. It didn't pay off at the end. But I got a couple of questions. For the room, and I'm gonna go ahead and get all the way down, so I'm current in the chat. That way I'm up, I'm up to where we are right now. My man Marcus Howard says it best. It's just sad now. That's a fact. And on top of that, the Yankees too. Come on, man. New York can't catch a break right now. What's the last hope is who? The Knicks? Last hope is the Knicks right now. Shout out to my man Dwayne Murphy in the building. He says, "Yeah, the Jets sold their soul just to be worse than us." That's a fact, man. And you know what? I had a Jets fan tell me I didn't know football. And it's funny when they fired Saleh, and Saleh didn't do the greatest job. I understand, but when they fired Saleh, I put out a tweet. I said I said the same thing. I said the Jets sold their soul to Aaron Rodgers, and a 30-something-year-old wide receiver is probably going to be traded. They're probably going to trade for next. And the guy told me, "You don't know nothing about football." And guess what happened? They lost 3 straight, and they got Devontae Adams. Exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Bill Hartnett says, shout out to Bill. He says, "Mr. Jones, can I interest you in a bus ticket out of New York, New Jersey? Question for you. Have you ever seen Con Air?" That's a fact. He's a criminal. Put him on Con Air. Crash the plane. Nah, I'm joking. Yeah, man. I like I said, the writing's on the wall. I think for the people that were still holding on to a little bit of hope for Jones, you saw it in this game. We saw him make some great passes. We saw him be the Daniel Jones that we know. So every time you get something good, you get something bad. It's just like a fair exchange, but nobody wants it. Nobody wants it, man. Great pass to Slayton, good seam pass to Theo Johnson, and then you get the strip fumble. Or the sack strip, I should say, and you give the ball up. We don't even get a chance because even if we got in the 4th down there, you still had enough time on the clock to kick the field goal again, and then try to stop them again. But no, you strip the ball. We don't get any points out of that drive. It is what it is. And then, and then, like that last drive really pissed me off, man. That last drive, we needed to go. What was it, 93 yards to score a touchdown? You start that drive off, get some good completions, just enough to reel me back in again. Just enough. You get down to what? What do we get down to? Like the 40 to 30-yard line, and then you throw the interception. That's it, man. That's Daniel Jones in a nutshell. And I think that everybody has bought into the fact that he won't be here after the season. I mean, it just is what it is. It's nothing that you can do. This was a winnable game. Like going into this game, I even did the prediction Saturday night. I didn't think we were going to win this game. I thought it was going to be like 21-17 or something like that. I didn't think that we would be going, into the 4th quarter with 2 minutes left with still having a chance in this game. Didn't think about that. But that's where we were. And look what happened. Awful. Just awful. Robert says Giants 11-6 Super Bowl champs. You throwing jabs at somebody? Marcus says I knew it that they was going to lose. We need a quarterback in 2025. Cam Ward draft pick. My man Bill Hartnett says even when they make plays, the Zebras call them back. That's a fact. Like that's a fact, man. The refs have been, not just even in Giants game, the refs have been horrible all season long so far. And I don't expect them to get any better. I don't expect them to get any better, but they have been horrible. But a lot of that has to do with coaching, has to do with discipline. And like what can we say about it? Again, illegal formation, illegal illegal motions, illegal shifts, illegal man downfield. That's all coaching. That's all discipline. We've got so many penalties on illegal man downfield that they should know. It should be already something that's just mentally stuck in their heads that they cannot go past a yard on some of these plays because you are going to get called for illegal man downfield. And we just keep doing it. And we saw Brian Dable, he was fired up on the sideline. He was absolutely losing it on the sideline, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Some things you can blame Dable on. Some things you got to blame the performance and the execution on the team. It is what it is. Shout out to Five Blizzard. He says bench Daniel Jones. Bench Daniel Jones, bench Daniel Jones, bench Daniel Jones, bench Daniel Jones. Right to the point. Right to the point. Robbie says the same thing. Daniel Jones literally can't play in the XFL. Good Lord, man. My man Kurt Barry says, I said Jones is getting a strip sack or an interception. I don't even get mad at him anymore. He said he just is what he is. We'll be drafting the quarterback anyway. That's a fact, man. Get used to these quarterbacks, man, because the New York Giants are definitely in the QB market this offseason during the draft for sure. A Train says running into a kicker no call is the difference in this game. How the hell you miss pass interference and running into the explain it. You can't explain it. You can't explain it. That's a fact. They like even when the announcer said, and then did you see the Manning cast? I saw a clip of the Manning cast during that play, and both Eli and Peyton are sitting here like, okay, it's going to be offsetting, fouls, offsetting penalties because the guy ran into the kicker. And no, they picked up the flag for roughing the passer. I'm sorry, not roughing the passer. For roughing the kicker, and it ends up being a touchdown. It's crazy. It's clear too. Like, and where's New York? Where's New York right there? Who's supposed to be reviewing the plays, the penalty? How do you pick up that flag? Like you see the kicker get knocked down, rolled into. And it's just crazy, but it keeps happening to the New York Giants. Joseph Wilcox says, I agree, a flag on that play, 0 on the play clock. Now that was bad. Even Troy said so. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. He said it. And guess what? The New York Giants are on the wrong side of the refs. And it happens all the time. Every time we got a positive play, I got PTSD. Every time there's a deep pass, I'm looking for the little green graphic to show that there's a flag, man. I'm tired of it, man. I shouldn't feel that way every time the New York Giants have a big play, but it happens game after game, and we already know if it's a screenplay, it's a legal man downfield if we get the flag. It just happens all the time, man, and people are sick of it. My man Kred said, "Is it K-Red? Key-Red? Let me know." With the $5 super chat, he says, I had a feeling something bad was going to happen at the end of the fourth when Daniel Jones came out skipping. Skipping freak. Skipping freak. He's skipping to the line. Oh, I didn't see that. He was skipping to the line. That's funny because I didn't see that. I ain't see that at all. My man Jesus Torres says we can't catch a break. First the ref, second coach game management, third the quarterback, and a while back. The kicker man can't catch a break. That's a fact, man. We had a lot of things we were playing against on one of those drives. We had a penalty on like 3 straight first downs. Like we were trying to get it out the mud. Like it was awful. It was awful, and still we ended up getting 3 points out of the drive. But I believe they had, what was it? One of our possessions, we had 4 penalties on the offense on one drive. Like we can't win games like that. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot as many times as the Giants are doing this, and it's just crazy. Sydney says Jones can't make plays under pressure. That's solidified. Can't be debated. Can't be argued. Absolutely 100% true. Sydney also says, Dash, I think some of our clock management on offense was poor toward the end. That's a fact. Like why aren't we playing up tempo? Why? And then I understand we had a little bit of success late running the ball, and I had to eat a little bit of crow because I was like, when we got that ball before Tyrone Tracy got the running touchdown, I was like, we shouldn't be running the ball at all. This should be all up tempo, passing the ball and making sure we keep, stop the clock. But no. I mean, fortunately, it worked out. We got the touchdown on a run, but again, like where's the sense of urgency? There's no sense of urgency, and we're talking about we're in the fourth quarter with 7 minutes left. I don't understand sometimes, man. And again, I know John Mara said what he said, talking about guys are safe, but you can't be in a position where you have a chance to win a game and you call certain plays in this poor time management. And again, we saw it. You score a touchdown. Why you go for 2? What is the play call? What it's something that we've never seen before. Why are we doing things like that? It doesn't make any sense to me. Brian Sutton says, bro, I understand the refs played us out, but we can't blame the refs. We lost because of bad play calling. True. Poor execution down the stretch. True. Clock management was awful. Again, I can't argue with any of that. I can't. It is what it is. I can't argue with any of that. It's just that Let me know if I'm lying though. The refs didn't help either. The refs didn't help. They didn't help us either. Especially early, they didn't help us either. But now you're absolutely right, 100%, Brian, 100%. Black Love 23 says it's time to clean house, bring in the GOAT and Cam. Who's the GOAT? Who we talking about when you say the GOAT? You talking about Bill Belichick? That's the GOAT you talking about, Bill Belichick. Whoa, JCNYC, which play caller wasn't bad. Can I say the whole game was bad? No, you're absolutely right. I can't say that the whole game was bad, but there was definitely some head scratches in there. You can't sit here and say there weren't some head scratching moments. Going into the half, there was some head scratching moments there too. Settling for field goals, not wanting to push the ball. Maybe not bad play calling, but it's still questionable. And where is your aggressiveness? Where is that at? We settled a lot. We did settle a lot. And again, I can't say the whole game was bad because there were some big plays. The announcer said it. We had We had 4 explosive plays of 25 yards or more. And that's what we were looking for, explosive plays. And we saw some explosive plays today, but it still wasn't good enough. And that's been the main thing too, especially with me, because I've been back and forth on Jones. Now I've been back and forth on Dable. But at the end of the day, when it all boils down, it's just not good enough at the end of the day. No matter how you slice it, it's just not good enough. Shout out to my man D'Illa NYG, another Giants content creator. If you're not subscribed to D'Illa, go ahead and do that. Show the man some love. Show the community some love. D'Illa says we had Calvin Austin get us for 2 touchdowns. Shaking my head, laugh out loud. Former Los Angeles Rams great Van Jefferson put 64 on 4 catches. That's a fact. Watch out for Jalen Coker next week. Oh man, if we couldn't stop those two, lose out. I hear you, man. I'm not gonna argue with you. I hear you. Shout out to Nova Nebula. I ain't seen you in a while, Nova. He says, do we honestly expect anything different at this point? And that's why I said when I started this stream, shame on me. Shame on me for letting these guys reel me in. Pause. I was excited in the 4th quarter, man. I was all out, like my man Cop Pizzle said, I was all the way reeled in, excited. Like, okay, do we have a chance? Can we tie this game up? Can we do something? 2 times in a row, 2 turnovers, both by Daniel Jones. It is what it is. JCNYC says, yeah, but in my opinion, the small percentage of bad play calls, not the reason for the loss. Crazy atmosphere, played tough. What about the drop passes, high balls? I spoke on that earlier. There was some drop passes for sure. There was some high balls for sure, like that one play to Slayton where he got hit. That was a murder ball. What we call a murder ball is when the quarterback throws the ball knowing that receiver is going to get killed. They call it a murder ball. And that one, Slayton did drop it. He got hit pretty hard, but we saw how fast he got open. The broadcasters pointed it out. That ball has to be thrown a lot sooner. And you know what? You save yourself. And Tom Brady said it. He said it's the quarterback's job to protect his wide receivers. That way they build that trust. And again, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like I said, I'm not going to argue about all the play calling, but there was some questionable calls still. I can't point the finger at him first, though. That's for sure. Let's see what we got going on. No, it's all love, man. It's all love. Absolutely, man. I appreciate what you do too, man. Absolutely. And again, if you're not subscribed to D'Illa, go ahead and subscribe to that man as well. If I knew how to put links in, I would do that. But people can figure that out. Y'all can figure that out. My man Theodore Morehouse says, I never had belief at the end of the game. I had hope, but not belief. Call it what you want to call it. I was reeled in. I was standing up. I was standing up in front of my television. So if that's hope or if that's belief, I think you're right. I think it's about hope, not belief. Because, I was hoping. I wasn't believing. That's a fact. Thank you for pointing that out. Lennox Clark Jr. says, 2 questions. Is Tay Banks cooked? Should we lean on Tracy rest of the season? Well, I think we're already leaning on Tracy. It's our Singletary's been healthy for 2 games, and we've seen that Tyrone Tracy is the starter. I'm curious to see if he was concussed or not. We'll find that out. But yeah, you're definitely going to lean on Tracy to the rest of the season. In regards to Tate Banks, that's up to him. That's up to him. It's all about how he responds in this situation. Because guess what? He's only 2 years into his contract, so he can either mail it in or he can take, the disciplinary actions that he got today and just come back and show this team that he's willing to put his all out there on the field. So that's up to him. I'm not going to say that he's cooked yet because he still has shown us some things. And even in this game, he had the hustle play. That was going to be a touchdown to George Pickens. He decided to hit him late. Not hit him late, but hit him. And guess what? It prevented him from getting his second foot down. So that's a hustle play right there. He didn't quit on that play either. So it is what it is. That's a good question, Joseph. Had he? A lot of people were saying he was benched because he went low on Najee Harris. I don't believe that's why he got benched. And I said it before. If you ever watch the Pittsburgh Steelers highlights or watch a Pittsburgh Steelers game, Najee Harris jumps over somebody almost every game. It just happened to be Tate Banks in this game, and he gets pretty high. So I can't blame him for that. But I did see a tweet, and again, it was from Sean Marash from the Fan. He said that there was a big blow up between Banks and Dable on the sideline. ESPN didn't show it, but it was definitely a blow up, and we did not see Banks after that. So I'm pretty sure the beat writers are going to address that, whether it's in the post-game presser or not, but it will be addressed maybe tomorrow when they do their recap of the game. But we definitely will hear about what happened. But you know how the New York Giants are going to do. They're probably going to keep a lot of things in house. They have that comment, but again, he was benched. I don't know exactly why, because I can't point to a particular play where he did not or where he just gave up on the play. Maybe it wasn't that noticeable. Maybe something like that did happen, but I don't know for sure. I have to go back and figure that out. Brian Sutton says we had no chance in hell, Vince McMahon, with Daniel Jones. Besides Bryce Young, he is the worst QB starting in the NFL. Maybe Will Levis in that convo too. Them three laugh out loud. That's a fact, man. But again, will they bench Daniel Jones? Do you think this performance was bad enough for him to be benched? If it was me, I would say yes, because again, at the end of the game, what do people ask for at the end of the game? What do the coaches ask for? What do the fans ask for? To give yourself a chance at the end of the game. And not only did we have one chance at the end of this game, we had two chances at the end of this game. And both mistakes, both turnovers were on the quarterback. We're absolutely on the quarterback. And again, when you're putting yourself in those positions, guess what? Cream rises to the top. And Daniel Jones ain't cream. He don't rise to the top. That's the difference between a franchise quarterback and a guy making franchise money. And I think that's what we got right now. A guy making franchise money, but we don't have a franchise quarterback. What else we got going on here? Yeah, that's a fact. That's what said. Banks bumped heads with Dable. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I would have loved to have seen it. Because Dable is pretty feisty, and if they were going back and forth, I would have loved to see it. And somebody will find the clip. Somebody will post it most likely. Dealer says Troy Aikman said it. He described Daniel Jones' career in the sentence. He did. Just late. He's just late. I believe what he said was he just waits for guys to get open. And that's one of the biggest knocks. And when you don't have anticipation, you're absolutely limited. And again, they had one of the just that play alone, just there's no better way to put it. You saw it. The way the play called, the way that Slayton got open, how fast he got open, and Daniel Jones just looking, and Slayton was open for at least a second. And that was, you talking about slow-mo camera. He was open at least a second before Daniel Jones threw that ball, and we all know what a difference a second makes, for sure. My man JC says, I honestly think that if we don't bench Banks, the deep throws are not there for Wilson. I believe it. I believe that too. It's just he got benched at the wrong time for me. There's some realness to that. There's absolutely some realness to that. My man Bill says, glad you brought up that Brady said that it was the one thing that stuck out to me. And so yeah, that's a fact. You got to the quarterbacks got to protect the wide receivers, man. See, we watch football, man. We take in the information, Bill. We on the same place, man. We at the same place. Rennis said with the laughing emoji was doing the same thing, pacing back and forth. Yep, just staring at the TV, man. And again, just imagine because my wife is a Steelers fan. We could not watch the game in the same room. I'm in the family room. She's in the living room. We can hear each other cheering back and forth, but we just can't sit in the same room when these teams are playing. That's how big of a fan I am for the Giants and how much she's a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And at the end of the game, end of the day, she got the bragging rights. She got the bragging rights, man. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Sydney says that at least we had the touchdown and a second 100-yard game from Tracy. That's a consolation prize for sure. Hope he didn't get a concussion. That's a fact. That's a fact. Shout out to my man, Blazing Brazen in the building. He says, Daniel Jones out here collecting bodies. He's the new wide receiver killer. Yeah, it was bad ball, man. I want to know, was it? Yeah, Dwayne Murphy says, I want to know what the last thing Dable said to Jones was when the game ended. I hope it was, you're gone, you're gone, buddy. He might have said that, you're gone, but that's hilarious. Mad he just whispered that to him, throw his headset down, touch him on the shoulder. You're gone, buddy. Yeah. That's another thing they call them, hospital balls. That's for sure. Shout out to TD Midas in the building. My man Ed Liz said, you and your wife have any bets on the game against each other? Nah, we don't bet. We don't bet on the games at all. I did have a parlay, though. My parlay didn't hit either. In order for my parlay to hit, I needed a touchdown from Neighbors, and I needed a touchdown from Najee Harris. That was my anytime touchdown. Everything else pretty much hit. But I just needed that because Jones got over 150. Russell Wilson got over 150. So yeah, I just didn't bet on the score. I didn't bet on the over under or the spread. I just did some same game parlays, just for yardage, touchdown, totals, receptions, and stuff like that. And pretty much everybody hit. Actually, Firemove, I don't think Firemove had 4 receptions. I gotta check. I just know I didn't hit the parlay though. Dwayne Murphy says you throwing money in the trash when Jones is involved. That's a fact. That's a fact for sure. My man Joseph Wilcox with the file super chat says Slayton could have short-armed that catch. He knew he was going to get drilled. Slayton is a tough receiver. No, that's a fact. He could have got the T-Rex arms on there, alligator arms. He could have got that. But he went up there to try to make a play. And again, that pass just was late. It was just there's no way to get around it. It was just late. That's the difference between big plays, getting your wide receiver hurt, and incompletions. Timing is so important. Anticipation is so important. And unfortunately, you can have a strong arm. You know what I mean? You can thread the needles, but if you don't have that anticipation, that's a big part of the game. Drew Brees survived for a long time after that arm was cooked off of anticipation. And he just doesn't have it, man. Just doesn't have it. Tone Lamont says O-line played much better than expected. Yeah, running the ball, absolutely. The guy Hubbard, he gave up some plays, had some penalties, gave up some sacks. But again, I can't sit here and blame the offensive line for this game. Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the Pittsburgh Steelers. For us to hold up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's a pretty good showing, especially when you don't have your all-pro left tackle out there. It is what it is, man. He said Pat had 2 catches for 19 yards. Talking about Firemove. Okay. Yeah, because I had I didn't think he hit either. So it was a Neighbors touchdown, Najee Harris touchdown, and then 4 receptions from Firemove. But I think everything else hit. That's a fact, Theodore. Theodore says ref always screw awful teams. True. Yeah. That's the new one. It's going to keep on going too. Brian Sutton says Daniel Jones is now or it's 1-15 in primetime games. Is that truth? That's awful. It is awful. TD Midas responded to Brian Sutton says He's a second-year corner. Everyone is in Sauce Gardner. Cornerback position is the hardest position to play. But tell me who you would want to play besides Banks. That's on the roster currently right now. Take your pick. Take your pick. But again, that's my position as well. Second-year guy, he has to show that extra want and fight for his position. Again, we'll see what happens. We'll see if Dable addresses it at all, but I don't think it's going to happen though. I don't think it's going to happen. All right. So it looked like we already got 46 minutes in. The stream started a little bit late, but I'm gonna get to a couple more chats, and then I'm gonna wrap it up, man. We got Washington Commanders next week. I'm sorry, this Sunday coming up at home. The way those guys are playing, the fans on cloud nine. I don't know what to expect, but at the end of the day, still, I don't think that offensive line is quite there yet. Speaking about the Commanders, and I think you will kind of see a similar game where the New York Giants fight early, keep it close, and then it's just like a collapse at the end. That's just the story of the season right now. The second half collapses, not scoring enough points. Today was 18 points. We were averaging 15 points going into this game. You just can't win games averaging 15, 18 points a game. It's just not going to happen. Just not going to happen, man. And you slowly start to realize for a lot of you out there, you're already there. But for me, I keep holding on to hope, holding on to faith, thinking that this team is going to get a spark from somewhere. And it's up to Dable to figure some things out. If making the move is the right decision, he needs to go ahead and do that. If you want to wait to after the Carolina Panthers game, you can do that as well. But that's a good point too. Shout out to JC. He says away games, they are more competitive. It's true, and that sucks too. That sucks too, man. And you just can't survive that. Like, no matter what we see, that's just a true fact. You look at the New York Giants when they're away, more competitive. They come home, and it's just the worst thing you can ever watch, and it's not fair to the fans, the home fans at all. Brian Sutton says we should have beat them in DC. They should have lost yesterday. Now that Hail Mary, it was what it was. And guess what? I put out a tweet right before the Hail Mary. I should just stop tweeting during the games. Maybe I'm jinxing the Giants. But I said all those field goals for nothing because they kicked all field goals yesterday, and then the one touchdown they get us off a Hail Mary. It is what it is. It is what it is. Lennox Clark Jr. says, which QB should we draft in the draft? There's a lot of guys out there, man. I'm hoping that we're in a position to get one of the top guys. I'll give you my order. And once we figure out what's going to happen with the coaching going into the draft, then I can have a better idea of who fits the New York Giants. But again, right now there's no change. For me, Sanders is number one, Cam Ward is number two, and then after that it gets a little bit murky. You have some people still like Beck. I'm off the Beck train. He can't make plays off script. Jalen Milroe still needs a lot of developing. You could say yours, but he gets hurt a lot. Some people like Nussmeier, but Nussmeier, in my opinion, is still a second-round quarterback. So for me, I'll say Sanders, I'll say Ward, I'll say Nussmeier. Those are probably my top three guys, depending on where the New York Giants are picking. I think if Brian Dable is here, Jalen Milroe is absolutely a quarterback that fits what Brian Dable likes to do. But that's where I'm at right now, man. That's it right now. Jackson Dart is a good pickup late, but he still needs some development as well. Who else is out there? There's a lot of quarterbacks out there. And again, like I said, Ewers always gets hurt. But there'll be some more guys that'll come up, though. All right, Dealer says, arguably the Bears never should have been in that Washington game. They couldn't get anything going until Swift finally came to life at the end. That's the truth. I sat and watched that game. Caleb didn't do them any favors. No, he had 33 yards in the third quarter passing. 33 yards Caleb Williams had. In the third quarter, 33 yards passing. and then some big plays happen, and it is what it is after that. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. I'm gonna wrap this up. Just appreciate everybody vibing with me. It's already tomorrow. People got work to do. That's why I hate these Monday night games, man, because you can't even enjoy anything after it for the most part. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for vibing with me. Just want to make sure that I get to all the super chats. Make sure I got to all the super chats, and I did. Um, Let me get to these last couple of comments. Bill Hartnett says, "What kind of sucks is when they bring guys for quarterback interviews and we don't uh, see it like last year." That's a fact. That's a fact, man. Uh, Ronnie says we need someone who will be ready. That's a fact when you're talking about these quarterbacks. Again, yeah, shout out to everybody, man. Take it easy. Good night. Be safe. All that good stuff, man. So what I'll say is I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation.